Alright guys, so here we are with some more Flare. And it's been a little while since I made these videos. I was just playing the game tonight actually, but you know, I usually stock up on these videos and do the narrations when I can get a chance to do them. So I'm not exactly sure where I left off. I think we're going to it's like this catacombs type area, if I remember correctly. You'll see soon enough if I'm right. So one of the things I began to realize with this game is that it's not like a skill span game so much. Like it's kind of like they want you to use your weapon a little bit. Maybe I'm wrong, but you know, that's like the feeling I get. Maybe it's just my build. Like I said, this is the first character I've really seriously played with in Flare, so I can't really say much of anything for sure. After we finish this, though, I'll have a better understanding of it in general. And I'm kind of thinking of doing like maybe an archer. Maybe I'll do an archer next. I don't know if I'll do videos for it. It really kind of depends on how these do. And, you know, how I'm feeling. But it's a maybe. But yeah, I'm kind of stuck using my sword a lot right now. I don't even think... No, I don't have the shield skill yet. We're going to try to go after that next. And I think when I level up at this point, I think that's what I learn next. And I also dumped a lot of points into mana regeneration. I'm not sure if that was a good idea. Like, everything's really a coin toss right now. But yeah, the rain sound is really soothing. Nothing like killing some zombies to the relaxing sounds of rain and orchestral music. I'm surprised, like, everything about this game is pretty well done. Like, it's so much like what you would expect from, like, a Diablo 2 type game. Or, like, an action version of Baldur's Gate or something like that. It just has a great vibe. And they managed to replicate it. And I think they started this project in 2012. So they managed to replicate it in 2018. That's pretty cool. A lot of times you have games that are kind of like a retro style, but they feel very modern. This kind of feels like a retro game with some modern ideas in it. I guess that's the best way to describe it, and it works well. Yeah, so here we have another one of those waypoints, and I accidentally walk into it for some reason. Maybe I went back to Perdition. I'm really not sure. I think I was exploring this area.
Take a look around.
Yeah, and I just sell some stuff. I don't know what I was doing here. There's a lot of stuff in this game, like, I went back and started playing it again, and, like, there's all these, like, little quests and stuff that I have, and I'm like, where the hell did they come from? Like, what? Who is this guy that gave me this quest that I don't remember? And I'm just looking at the scrolls here. I guess I was, like, trying to decide what I wanted, or if I wanted to test anything. I guess that was the idea. In fact, I'm not really sure if I tested Zombie out in the previous episode or not. But it is a very useful, very useful scroll. Oh, I did use it. It would have been nice if they had like a little graphic. It just kind of appears. Here's your zombie, motherfucker. Enjoy it. Probably going to be using zombies a lot with the mage. Because he is not tanky, as one would expect. But I did have a lot of trouble experimenting with him. As you can see, I'm not at all sure where to go. I don't know how I got so disoriented with the map, but I did. Maybe I was looking for something. Now those gravestones will summon undead, so that's an interesting feature. I don't know if you get experience for the undead or not. They're summoned, it probably doesn't matter though. The experience is pretty, like, the experience rates are pretty high in this game. Like, you need a lot to level up. So if you're fighting like level 3 enemies or something and you're like level 8, it's just not going to happen. Damn, my zombie's just fucking dunking on people. Literally, that's what it looks like. Yeah, you get some like good experience from those things. We leveled up, which is always good. One thing that I am encountering is like we seem to need a lot of defense. That's what I'm trying to think. I'm trying to think of that word, defense. It's a very complicated word. We need a lot of the defense stat to wear armor. I'm further along in the game, but like the latest armor that I could get, you need like 19 in defense just to wear it. So I was a little bit surprised by that. Now, of course, for different classes, the requirements are different. Like the mage needs less, and the archer needs a little less too. Like, it's mostly the warrior who needs a lot of it. It makes sense though, because he is the guy who goes toe-to-toe with things and tries to fight them. And that's one of the things I'm going to probably stress in the guide, is how much these characters are going to need just to equip their armors, like their best armors. This is something that's helpful to know when you're building a character. And even though I'm going to try to like figure out as much as I can and, you know, come up with at least somewhat refined builds, you know, it's not going to be like the be-all, end-all perfect guide on everything. I mean, there's very rarely anything that's like completely cut and dry with this kind of game. Unless you really, really experiment, min-max and all that stuff. Basically go speedrunner mode. But Quake is a lot of fun. Later on I'm going to have enough mana to actually use it a lot. I still have to hit things with my sword though. There's something I was hoping to be able to avoid, but like I said, I don't know what the max level is, I don't know how many skill points you get, and I don't want to dump like 6 skill points into mana when your character only gets like 20 or something like that. So I'm kind of reluctant to go overly crazy, especially when I feel like for the warrior you probably want to go with Wolfside, the skill, the ranger skill Wolfside. I don't know why I'm going back. Oh yeah, there's like a thing I missed. You probably want to go with that because it will increase your accuracy, and as you can see, like those green numbers that keep popping up are me not exactly completely hitting the enemy, and they're like partial blocking the attacks. You don't want that. So, like in retrospect, I would probably have designed this character a little bit different. Like I think the only like character in this game that's going to turn out to be like a true mana battery is going to be the magician, because he uses mental, which if I recall correctly obviously increases his magic points and the regeneration, I think. So I don't really think the other characters are going to be able to manage that, even with mana flow skill. Although I would say the Ranger, out of anyone, probably has the most leeway with that stuff, because the build I'm planning on experimenting with is, I don't remember what the exact skill is called, but it's basically split arrow, is like one of the terms you could use for it, where you fire several arrows at once, and they fan out, and it's basically pretty effective even against single targets, as long as you hit them at a reasonably close range so the arrows connect. But I think with that character, if he's going to be like a one-trick pony with one skill, I'd probably be able to put a lot into like mana flow, because there's not a whole else much more you need. And so that was Ardwin. I think he's the mayor of that little town we were in. That's all zombies. And it was a strange little mini quest. Like, you just go through this area, you kill some shit, you kill him, and you get some experience. And that's the quest. I like that, though. It's like a cool thing. Like, you're exploring and you just find this little side road, and you go down here and you just do a thing, and that's it. Like, I actually think that's cool. Like, Diablo 2 was like that, if I remember correctly. There were like these little places you could go into and just like fight monsters or whatever, and you'd get like a small treasure or whatever. I might be completely misremembering that, or it might be a different game. There we go, running out of that skill again. Like, I don't really think this is a great combination of skills. Like, this build improves when you get the shield bash, or shield charge, but it's not, like, awesome or anything. In retrospect, if I were to, and I'll probably make another warrior, but next time I make one, I'd probably concentrate on the blood sword skill and shield charge. And like, shield charge would be to get you into the fight, and blood sword and shit. And blood sword is like fucking badass, because I think at least on level 2 it's like 140% attack power. Which is pretty lethal, like for like low level early stuff. It's kind of hardcore. Usually like those skills and stuff are like, no, you get 10%. And so like that translates into like you do 1 more point of damage or 2 more points because you're like level 3. In this game it's like, no, it's 140. You get to do fucking 12 more points of damage. Of course, that's, it's considerable. And bleed is ridiculously overpowered. Like, you'll see later on in other videos, like, I use it against some enemies, and, like, I don't even have, like, it's like I have level 1 blood sword, and I would like tag enemies with it, run away, and like I'd come back and they'd be half dead. Like, they should have probably like implemented a little bleed resistance into some of these things. The skeletons, of course, and you know, certain other enemies you can't bleed. But anything that's, you know, like, not even living and breathing, somehow bleed works on zombies, which, I mean, it kind of makes sense. I guess it's the rules for the zombies in this world. Like, they're zombies, but they still need their blood. Not quite like the J... Is it J. Romero? Yeah, well, it's not quite like the Romero zombies, where you gotta headshot them. A little more fragile. But yeah, as you can see, like, bleed does a lot of damage to the player character. I mean, it's only like, I think it's like 5% or something, but that's considerable. You really only need 20 ticks of bleed to kill someone at 5%, so... You know, like, I don't know, maybe like a bleed resistance stat, or... Maybe just like, nerf it a little bit. Like, if I were making a mod for this game, I would be like, it bleeds like 2%. Or maybe you have to like hit the enemy with it a couple times to build it up, like in Dark Souls. But yeah, so I'm just kind of looking at my skills here, thinking, well, what do I get next? I'm like, maybe I'll get Shield Bash. Maybe not. Hopefully I get it in this episode. We'll be like in the 3rd episode, my character doesn't have like his core skills yet. Like, you can really tell I'm just kind of blindly feeling my way through the game. That's why I wanted to do this, because it's like, you know, I was just thinking, well, the first character is going to be the most fun, because that's the one where I'm going to make mistakes, and I'm trying to figure things out. It'd be the one that's probably a little more interesting to watch. Like, it's kind of funny watching him charge into, like, these groups of enemies and just, like, quaking them to death. And that was kind of the idea, was I didn't know how Shield Bash worked, or even Quake for that matter. Like, it's, you know, there's the description, but that doesn't really tell you, like, its radius or anything like that. So, you know, I was kind of like going blind there, thinking, well, these two things would probably be pretty cool together. And they actually kind of are. It'd be funny just to make like a pure Quake character. You could probably do that. You just take all the points you put in the Shield Bash and put a little bit extra into mana flow and Quake, and you can just stand around spamming it. The only problem there is, like, these guys. Like, I would probably put, like, 1 level in the Shield Bash. Like, regardless of whether I was, you know, like, regardless of the warrior build, unless you're using, like, throwing knives. Because, like, it's a good movement skill. You don't go far, like, but you go far enough to close the distance with some of these mages and shit. So that alone makes it like a useful tool. Well, I never realized that. I think the enemies fade. So yeah, I think I finally... Do I do it? See, I'm so hesitant. I don't know why. Just like, well, maybe I'll put the Shield Bash. Maybe not. So did I decide to do it? I'm looking at my regen. Just saying, no, maybe I need more mana. And I was thinking about it. And I did it. Oh, I put the mana. Well, sorry guys. I don't know. I don't think we'll see freaking Shield Bash tonight. In my defense, I did kind of need the mana, because, like, even with the potions, like, they, like, do, like, a pathetically small amount of mana restoration. Like, I think they would have been better off, like, maybe buffing them up a little bit. But even if they didn't want to do, like, a straight uh, heal buff for your mana. Is that, or restoration amount? Like, if they didn't want to do that, they could have maybe said, okay, well, you know, we'll give you like 10% of your mana, and then you'll regenerate it faster for like, I don't know, 30 seconds or whatever. Could have done that. But I think they probably could have just doubled the amount that you get from those mana potions. This is freaking pathetic. It doesn't matter too much though, because I really haven't run into a whole lot of stuff that's terribly difficult. There was one enemy that like really had me on the ropes later on, and I think that's just kind of the thing with your class. Well, there were two actually, and they were like kind of range type enemies. One was a boss, the other one's just like a strain of enemy. But anything like this, you're just going to stomp anyway. So I guess, you know, probably would have been overkill having really good mana potions. I mean, really all they would have had to have done to make the game a little more challenging would be to, like, buff up the enemy's HP and their attack power. They don't even need a lot of attack power. They could have just used maybe a touch more. Now this chick in here,
How can I help you?
she doesn't really say anything to you, but you can buy stuff and sell stuff, so great, I guess. We got a lot of good things that we can't use. But it's a lot better than Diablo, where you get like the Sword of Fire resistance. It's like, why would I want fire resistance on my weapon? Now, I do keep a lot of stuff on hand. Of course, this is all early game garbage that is really garbage. So I sell it. But, like a lot of rings and some of the armors and stuff, I end up keeping definitely all the uniques that I find. All of the one unique that I've found so far, I'm going to keep. And I will make them available on the website. Not that it matters. I mean, this is an open source game. You could probably go in and just edit the save files and give your character what you want. But, you know, that's probably easier just to put some save files in your folder and then open the game up. I did search for some more mods of this game. There was one made by the creator. I'm not sure if I mentioned it in the last episode. It was like kind of like almost like a Pokemon style game. I think that's what he was talking about it being. But it had that kind of vibe to it. It uses the same engine. Oh, you have to excuse me. It's getting late. So I'm starting to get a little tired here and might frickin' fall asleep and mash my face into the keyboard, which will make for a great video, I'm sure. As I friggin' like rape Sid with this spell, like my god. Maybe this build isn't that bad. Until you run out of mana. And we got some fancy new gloves. That's another thing I really like about this game. We'll see later on that, like, all of the armor and shit changes as you level up and get new stuff. And we'll put on these nice warrior gloves with their 2 extra critical hit chance. I think it's very cool that they like made it so that you can get a critical hit that's partially blocked. That's very creative stuff. Because sometimes you'll see something that pops up as a critical hit and it's like 5 damage more than what you usually do, or it's basically like the same as your normal white damage. It's because the enemy blocked it and cut it in half in the first place. I guess that works for you. Like, I'm gonna have to just stand there and let, like, things shoot at me and hit me. And just see, like, how the damage varies. But I'm guessing that's how it goes. Like, I've never gotten... I don't think I've ever been critical. I don't think that's something the enemies can do in this game. Could be wrong, though. Probably find out the hard way. Yeah, it would be nice to have Shield Bash, because then we can just frickin' bash those mages in the bowls. And like I said, I think maybe focusing on a combination of Shield Bash and Blood Sword, or even Cleave, would probably have been better. A better kind of melee style. And then having, like, maybe one day I'll make a character that uses, like, the throwing knives and stuff. And just having, like, a low-level Quake as, like, a repulsor. If even that. You can kite pretty easily in this game. Well, that's another interesting feature of this game that I think is really awesome. You can actually play this with a controller. And it's pretty doable. Like, you have to use the, you still have to use the mouse to pick stuff up as far as I can tell. There might be a hotkey for that I just kind of missed. But, you know, like, you can run around, you can put all your shortcuts and hotkeys and stuff onto your controller. You can map it. The only problem with it is it's a little finicky. Like, when you're mapping it, it's a little weird. Like, you have to, like... It's weird. You have to, like, enable the game. Or you have to enable the feature, then you have to close the game. And then restart it and try to map the keys out. Because it's a little bit buggy, it seems. But the fact that they, like, actually put controller support into this game is awesome in and of itself, even if it's a little finicky. And there was also a point where I don't know what the hell I did. Like, I did something I probably shouldn't have done. Like, I was, like, just kind of messing around with the mouse and running around with the controller at the same time. And, like, both ended up not working. So we did get the Grave Bloom, which is one of the things we need to get back to Empyrean. Of course, we open these big, cool-looking chests, and there's gold and a health potion in them. Very, very disappointing stuff, game. Ripping me off. And I think I tried to leave. And I was just like, I'm leaving. And I'm like, oh, the gate's closed. You can probably portal back to Perdition. But I was just like, I might as well just go forward because I don't want to go through all that shit again. But yeah, so this is about it for the game. We can fight these fun ice spiders. And then we'll call it a day because it's getting late on my end. So thank you so much for watching, guys. I will be back with more. And until next time, good luck and happy gaming.